Welcome back, everyone, to Achievement Hunting 101. This is level 335, also known as level CCCXXXV, which is appropriate given that I see X right now. For he is X the hero, and I am ElroyOMJ, and we are back yet again. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. I like that my name has become one with the show titles. Whether it's 3 3s and the 2 E's or the Roman numerals here, I finally feel represented in my own podcast here. It's great. It's a good feeling.
I mean, not just once, but 3 times. I see X, CX, CX, CCC.
That's true. That's absolutely right.
It adds up after
I like
a
it. I like it. But yeah, no, man, I've been awesome. Today, as of day of recording, which means 4 or 5 days ago for y'all day one listeners, 9 Inch Nails, my favorite band ever, announced their tour last week, and tickets went live at noon today. And I entered the queue at noon today, and I was 23rd, 108th in line. And I ended up getting really, I'm just gonna curse right at the beginning. I got kick-ass tickets, and I am so freaking excited to go see them again this August. And then on topic, this August is going to be awesome because I'm going to see Linkin Park, and then 10 days later I get to go see 9 Inch Nails. So I am very excited. I got the tickets, and now it's just sort of the countdown, the next 7 months until I get to go see the shows.
I used to love some 9 Inch Nails back in the day, and I'm jealous. That's awesome. Congrats.
Thank you.
For me, I just have a party to go to this weekend. It's a murder mystery party, though. It's not 9 Inch Nails, but it is a murder mystery party, and it's set in the 20s.
Mean, maybe someone will get killed with the 9 Inch Nails, right?
Indeed. I did murder a student today. For those of you, yeah, we're down to 9 people left in my murder game.
That's true. You haven't sent us an update on that in a while.
Yeah. Jalen died today, so I'm sorry, Jalen. She put up a good fight.
Jalen.
Yeah. But the murder mystery party, it's set in the 20s, which I have to specify is the roaring 20s, given that we are in now the 20s again. But the roaring 20s, like 100 years ago, 20s.
That's true. We don't really have a name for this set of 20s, do we? Like we have the aughts and then the teens.
Yeah.
We're going to need something.
Get on that.
How about that?
Yeah. It's hard to beat the roaring 20s, though. I mean, that just sounds cool, but I don't know. And it's a pretty cool dancing back then. I got my character from the party host, and so I'm a gangster that has a thing for diamonds, basically. So I like to show off my wealth, I guess, as a gangster, my success, and I wear lots of diamonds, and I'm very austerious, I guess, in nature, where
ostentatious,
maybe that's it. I don't know.
Boastful, showy,
ostentatious. I mean, I could just be from Austin, but I am from Texas. But no,
you sound like a James Bond villain, by the way. Just throwing that out there.
Well, I wanted to get really into character, and there are trophies that are going to be handed out at this party, and one is for best costume and whatnot, and most whatever. Yeah, I guess whoever gets most into the character. And so I ordered all kinds of diamond things. I got like a diamond fedora. I got a big old chain. I think that I'm kind of missing the mark of the roaring 20s. I kind of look like a gangster, maybe a modern day gangster with these chains around my neck. But I did decide that I would try something with a wonderful grill. I don't know if you remember grills that were really popular probably about, 8 to 10 years ago. Where like everyone was wearing those stupid grills in their mouth and then wrecking their teeth, and it was a thing. I mean, some people are still clinging to it, using them nowadays, but they've definitely fallen out of favor. Maybe everyone's teeth fell out and they're like, maybe this isn't a good idea. I ordered myself a diamond encrusted grill. I thought that would really take it over the top with a diamond smile. I've never worn a grill in my life. I don't even know how to put one on. I'm a little intimidated by it, given that there's like some tape or something that you got to like mold to your teeth, and I'm afraid that it's going to be, I don't know if it's like polydentures or something like that.
I was going to say, like, what if it's adhesive?
Right, that's
really messes up your enamel there.
Right, that's right. I don't want to go that hardcore into the character, but And I don't want to really ask any of my students, how do you wear a grill? I don't want to go down that road. So
they would think you're the coolest if you
no,
did
I'm
that,
not
though.
sure that's what they would think, but so, but I'm gonna try it, and I'm sure I'll have an update on this section. But I just hope it doesn't wreck my teeth or pull them off or something. I don't know, or that I can't get it off and then I have to wear it to work. Oh my gosh, I
make,
don't even know.
make sure you do a big toothy smile, like just a selfie.
Oh
You
well,
know,
okay.
in case. No, before you put it on,
Oh,
just in case that's
okay.
the last time you ever get to see those teeth.
That or if the dentist needs it for reconstruction surgery or something, but
Right. Between the X-ray and this picture, we can
right.
get you back, or you can be diamond tooth forever. Your choice.
Yeah, I could just maybe it's a good look for me. I don't know. I'll try to get a picture for the chat, and I'll put it in there and see how I do on it. But yeah, so that's what I got going on. So so speaking of updates, well, any updates on your end?
Yeah, man, I sent you a picture. This is pretty minor in the grand scheme of things, but in the showcases at the game shop, if you've seen the Whatnot streams, you've noticed them. But we put LED lighting inside the showcases, so they were a little dark and dingy before, and now they're nice and bright, and you can see everything in there. But they're, the customizable. They're the Wi-Fi LED strips, so we can like set up routines and make them different colors. And we have them blue. Just I don't know,
Mhm.
Dan the boss decided we wanted them blue. So this picture I will post for listeners only. It's not that cool, but for visual people, I think it's the coolest damn thing. When I close up, when you turn all the lights off, it just glows blue. The shop just glows blue, and it's freaking sweet, to the point that I was like, of all the things I could talk about, I'm gonna talk about blue lights. That's my update, because it just looks freaking sweet, man. It's really cool.
I'm gonna back him up on this. It is really not. It is pretty cool. I was like, dang man, that's really awesome. I just wish there was a way that you could incorporate that into like some kind of to get more business or something like that. Yeah, because it looks really cool. And but if you had that dark in there, I'm sure everybody would just kind of take more than just the free games at the door. So
Right, exactly. And then honestly, you can't like it looks cool in the picture, but you really can't see because the
uh,
phone cameras are so good these days.
mhm.
They make things brighter. So it's just this really cool blue, but you can't really see what you're doing. So it's a cool picture, but it's not practical
Right.
otherwise. But it
It looks like a black light.
yeah,
It's some kind.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And it kind of pops off the floor with the space theme and all that. It just
Yeah,
looks cool.
yeah. I love that you know my shop from 14 hours away. It's cool. But yeah, no, that's my update. Is we put LEDs in it. It looks sweet. And then a quick cat update with Sophie Starfruit.
Mm.
She has on her own exited the bedroom. She was exploring the living room, and it seems like her and Miss Miku are slowly warming up to each other. I don't want to say they're best buds yet, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
You take what you can get at this point, right?
Yep, yeah. It's been a month, so we've
Oof.
we've come a long way in a month. So maybe in another month I'll have a snuggly cat.
Awesome. Well, keep us posted. Well, for me, last week I mentioned possibly doing Achievement Fest in Memphis.
To which nobody commented on in chat, by the way.
Well, it's they took it to the direct messages. So I want
Oh,
to,
did they? Okay, all right,
yeah,
fair enough.
I want to thank
Fair enough.
everyone who reached out to me and gave me such amazing encouragement. And by everyone, I mean no one. So yeah, you were right. Yeah,
Oh, okay. I was like, damn.
that was kind of rough
I was
go.
all right. I was so excited for that. I was like, that's awesome. Like, go Elroy.
Yeah,
And then no
yeah,
one said anything. I was a little
yeah,
discouraged.
yeah.
And you just briefly got my hope back up.
There you go. That was the emotional roller coaster I was
Man,
on too. I was all excited to talk about it, and
man.
then like apparently it was a one-sided or two-sided. I guess you were sharing my excitement,
It's
but maybe a two-sided excitement. I guess Triple he was excited as well. So but despite that, I'm pretty hard headed. I went ahead and moved it forward and talked to the principal about it. And he was really
jeez.
cool about it. And I'm awaiting some kind of final approval from someone in the board. We framed it as like an esports competition, fundraiser, thingamajiggy. Yeah, it may go through. I think it probably will go through. And so then I'll begin figuring out what it's going to look like. So right now it just looks like maybe Triple and I are going to have like a bros weekend or something. But yeah, I'll keep you posted because everyone's just so interested in it, obviously. So thank you all for all that. That y'all are the wind beneath my wings, I guess, as I do this. And then update number 2 is that my boy Rocker watched Karate Kid.
So in our doc, Elroy just wrote AF and KK. I figured out what AF was. I was not thinking Karate Kid.
Yeah, AF. Yeah.
The part that you have to add to that though is that he admitted in chat he thought Ralph Macchio was the character's name,
right? Yeah,
not the actor's name. And I hate to admit it, but I'm with Big L on this one. I thought, like, even if you haven't seen those, Daniel-san is kind of like, I thought people just knew that. So no disrespect to you, Rocker Dude, but I am surprised at your revelation there.
Yeah. We'll see if he continues the series. He says he's going to move on to the second one, and then they're just going to get progressively worse until they turn, the Karate Kid into a horse. So, wait, let's see. What's the female horse called? I can't remember. We went over this before.
We did a mare.
All right, there you go. That's your quick update. We remembered what a female horse was called.
Watch it not be a mare.
Yeah, a stallion, right, for the male, and the mare for the
Yeah, but then what's a foal?
Oh gosh, it's a baby horse, right?
A mare is I just googled it. The female of a horse or other equine animal is a mare. We're good. We're good.
We nailed it. Totally nailed that.
Totally nailed it.
Right. So speaking of nailing things, you got a real game for us, man? What you got this week?
You don't know it, but nailing things actually is a decent transition, but I can't reveal why for maybe like 5 more minutes or something like that. So this week I'm going to be talking about none other than Ace Combat 7, Skies Unknown, which I believe I mentioned years and years ago. Like when it came out, I was all excited to play it. And I think I mentioned just in passing that I was playing it, but I never did a formal showcase on it. So I've actually come back to the game recently, and I was actually inspired by my Whatnot shows. I was going through the Xbox section. I was like, oh man, Ace Combat 7, that was a lot of fun. Like, let me fire that back up. And I did. So I didn't replay through the campaign, but I remember the story. It was quite good. I've dabbled in some multiplayer. I've lost all my skills over the years, but man, I'm having so much fun with this game. So yeah, Ace Combat 7, Skies Unknown. It's Ace Combat, obviously, which is fighter jet aerial combat. If you didn't know that, that's what Ace Combat is, because aces are fighter pilots, and they're in combat, right? The naming, it goes with pretty standard naming conventions there.
What does a female combat pilot refer to it, and then a baby one?
An ace et? I don't know. An AC? You got me there. We'll just call it a mare. So
yeah, Ace Mare.
Ace Mare. But no, obviously it's the 7th one in the series, but none of them, like, story-wise, are connected. It's kind of like Final Fantasy, because this is a Final Fantasy podcast. It's just the 7th game in the series. I don't need to explain that. What am I rambling about here, right? So, what makes 7 really cool is in the first 6 games, you start off as a rookie pilot, and then you work your way up through the ranks. You complete the missions, and you get stars added to your, combat records and all that stuff. And then by the end of the mission, the end of the campaign rather, you have become the ace in Ace Combat. 7 is cool because you start off as the top rank. You are the number 1. You are the air squadron leader. Everyone looks up to you. You are the ace already. And then I'm going to spoil the story. The game is officially 6 years old here. So statute of limitations. I just said statute of limitations has expired. 6 years.
If it makes you feel any better, I butchered what was it? Ostentatious.
Ostentatious. Yes.
Yeah, I can't say that word for some reason.
So I'm gonna go ahead and spoil the story for you. You start off as the ace. Your what would you call it? Your code name, I guess. Your military nickname is Trigger. So that's you. You play as Trigger, and you are at war. I don't remember how to say the names, but you play for Osea, and then the bad guys are Eruja. It's just the 2 continents are at war, basically. and you're kicking butt and taking names. And then mission 4, I believe it is, like very early on in the story, a mission goes wrong, and it goes very wrong. Um, I feel like I only talk about games with phrases that we dare not speak online. But in this fourth mission, the head honcho who lives in the White House
Yeah, yeah.
becomes deceased,
Mm.
and they blame it on you because you were in charge of the mission, the escort protecting him, but they think you intentionally sabotaged it to take the head honcho out. I almost said it there. Um, so you get sent. This is where the story goes a little crazy here, but I like it. So you get sent to a prison alongside some other criminals, and your job at this prison is you are fodder, basically. Like, you're criminals, you're worthless, you're scum. It's the worst of the worst. So we're going to send you to fight in this war, and no one cares if you live or you die. So, you show up and they're like, what can you do? And you're like, well, I'm an ace pilot. So they give you this like junky old plane, like it's literally rusted. Like, as you're playing, which I'll get into in a little bit, like the plane flies like crap as you're going. Like, the guns jam all the time. But that's your job, is to, hey, criminal scum, go die in this war, because no one cares about you. Um, so of course you don't die. You come back from every mission successfully, and again, I'm spoiling the story here. So a couple missions you do as a prisoner, and then the big reveal is the bad guys aren't actually the bad guys. So you thought they were the bad guys. They thought
Mm.
you were the bad guys, because there's these unmanned drones piloted by
Oh.
AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
That are mimicking your maneuvers. They've learned from the aces, and the AI is taking over. Basically, they've advanced too far. It hits a little close to home, honestly, if you think about it. Like, the AI taking over and becoming better than the humans. So by the end of the game, the two countries that were at war at the beginning, they team up to take down the AI fighter versions of themselves, and it's pretty cool, actually, because the AI pilots learn from you in real time. Like, there was something they had to do with the engine. I remember reading about it, like the game engine, and basically, if you my go-to evasive maneuver, for example, is I'll just hit the brakes, and or I guess turn down the throttle, right, and then just let them fly right over me.
Mm-hmm.
So the AI pilots, they learn from you, and then they start doing that. They start using your own moves against you in real time. So
Mm.
it's pretty cool how they handled that. But that's the story. So you end up taking down the AI, and then you have to destroy the AI brain, and then everything's hunky dory after that. Everybody gets along because you were never fighting each other in the first place. You were fighting the AI, and you didn't know it. So happy ending. Um, you didn't botch the mission, and the AI basically had eliminated the head honcho, not you. So they just pop you on the back and, sorry about that, brother, and then off. You're not a prisoner anymore. So there you go. That's the story. It's a little campy, I will admit, but the AI aspect, it was very well done, very well incorporated.
What would you say to the hypothetical top review for this game? Is that it is a great flying arcade with a poor story and excellent gameplay.
That sounds about right. Is that the top review?
That's what it says. That's by Bermuda Polygon. So thank you, Bermuda, for letting me use that.
Yeah, let's be honest. You guys know, normally I don't spoil stories. But no one's playing Ace Combat 7 for the story, right? You're playing for the Ace Combat, which is legitimately at its peak here. Like, they knocked it out of the park. If you've played any of the other ones, the I don't know, I don't want to sound like I'm hyping it up or whatever, but like, the technology was finally there
Mhm.
to do some things that we couldn't do in old Ace Combat games. So if you fly through the clouds, before you would just fly through the clouds. Now you can actually use the clouds as stealth, which is really cool and practical.
Mhm.
But like, it's cold in clouds, so it ices up your wings, and if you hang out in the clouds and stealth too long, you lose your maneuverability. Like, that's cool. So it's like, the risk reward. How stealthy do I want to be? How long can I hang out? there's weather for the first time in the game. There's weather, so if it rains, your visibility's down, your handling is down. Because planes and rain and drag and aerodynamics and the rules of physics and all that. I don't need to go into why rain affects that, right? The coolest one to me is there's lightning. So if you're flying through these storm clouds, you can actually get struck by lightning, and it shuts off your electronics, so you're literally flying blind for a while until the plane reboots. Like, that's cool. That's terrifying, actually, the first time it happens.
I'm not a weatherologist, but I think that does check out.
Right, that seems legit, right? I don't know. I think actually don't practically speaking, I think planes get struck by lightning all the time, don't they? But they have like things built in to prevent that.
Right. Yeah, it's Tesla coils that redirect.
Yeah, exactly, right. Or reverse Tesla coils, as it would be. And then the weather physics, whatever gameplay feature that is practical, and it is what it is, but annoyed me the most was your heat-seeking missiles, your homing missiles. The wind will affect them, and your machine gun fire too. So if it's very windy, you have to shoot ahead of the target, otherwise your bullets are just going to get blown aside. It's practical. So like little things like that just add a nice level of realism. So if you're playing for that level of realism, you have it now. It sort of amplifies it from arcade shooter like the other ones were to it's not a flight sim, but it's just much more realistic.
Okay, so to back it up a notch is...
All right, we're backing up a notch.
What would you say you said some people, they're not playing it for the story, but they are truly playing this game for 120 to 150 hours for the completion. It seems like a long time possibly to be just flying a plane around, especially since you could, work towards getting your pilot's license. Apparently it only takes 750 hours for if you're in the military, for military pilots, or about 1,500 for a commercial pilot license. So you could already be like 10% done with your
10% of the way there.
Done with your pilot's license by the time you finish this game, if you really want to fly around that much.
I mean, I was going to address that when I got to the achievements.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The achievements. Okay. No, you're good. You're good. The achievements directly tie into your question.
Ooh.
So sit on that for a second. I'm almost there.
Okay.
I'm almost there.
It's just that 120 to 150 hours just kind of jumped off the page at me and scared me away from ever doing this game.
Yeah, for sure. It is not an easy completion. What the heck? I'll just jump there now. It's fine. I'll go out of order. So I did not get the full completion. I played through the campaign once on easy difficulty, of course. What else would I play through it on? There's 20 missions. You do get an achievement for each story mission, and then you also get one for completing the campaign for the first time. So 21 campaign achievements. That's been a trend in our games the past few weeks. So that's from the campaign. You'll get a couple random other ones throughout the campaign, like customizing your plane and buying your first upgrade and things like that. But the reason the completion is so long is what's the achievement called? There's one for there's a couple that go together. So Bird of Prey, destroy all named aircraft in campaign mode. Named aircraft, like fighting against other aces, basically only appear on ace difficulty. So to unlock ace difficulty, you have to beat the game on hard difficulty.
Oh, okay.
So there's that, right? So that one has an 8.87 ratio, just because it's hard, but also it's the second playthrough. And then there's an even crazier one for obtaining all the medals in the campaign, which basically means doing a no death, no damage, machine gun only playthrough in each difficulty. What am I getting at? Short version, you have to play through the game 4 times on all 4 difficulties: easy, normal, hard, and ace. And then you have to accomplish these ridiculous challenges on each of the difficulties. So, as I was saying, like, we want to play the games to have fun, and you get to customize your missiles and all your loadouts. But no, if you want to go for the completion, machine gun kills only, man. So I didn't bother with that. That one has a 13.12 ratio. It's 100 gamer score. That's basically the earn all the in-game achievement, for lack of a better way of putting that. That's the craziest one. And then obviously there's I forgot, you get ranks on missions. So, get all the S ranks in every mission on ace difficulty.
I hate
Yeah, with 14.3 ratio. So, yeah, there's some crazy ratio big numbers in here, but it's not like Game Pass inflation. They're hard. They're tough. I didn't bother with them. That's for the hardcore Ace Combat fans that play it for the story and because they're aspiring fighter pilots, I guess. I don't know.
Those S ranks, man. S ranks is just like, when I see the S rank, it just makes me not want to play a game. If they have an achievement that has S rank something blah 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 on it. But if this were a Game Pass game, what do you think the TA on this game would be?
Oh, I have no idea. I mean, it would be infinitely higher. Is all I can say about that.
Just double it, 15,000 TA.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Yeah, the whole game right now is 7109.
Yeah.
1,000 gamer score. There's no DLC or title updates. 7,100 TA. It is by no means an easy completion. It is by no means a quick completion. So it's not. This is not one for your spreadsheet there to enter. Hey, I completed this game. For most people, we're going to go through the campaign, dabble in the multiplayer a little bit, which I'll talk about in a minute, and that's that. For me personally, I played it for about 22 hours, and I have 440 gamer score for 1,300 TA, a nice 3.0 ratio, for dabbling in them. So yeah, I mean, you'll get rewarded even for the basic stuff if you're into those numbers.
You're number 2 on my friends list on the game, so congrats.
Number 2, who's number 1? I'm number 1 on my friends list.
Oh, Dano.
Don't know him.
Oh, G-Test. G-Test, dude.
G-Test, that would be why.
Vicious and delicious guy. Yeah.
You're rattling off these people like they're celebrities, and they're just G-Test players to me, man.
Yeah, I bet you there's some people out there that know Dano. And I think he actually has some kind of podcast he's doing on his own now. So, yeah. So I give him a plug there. He's a cool guy. I like him. I was his teammate one time. So.
And he's apparently good at Ace Combat, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he blew you out of the water or anything. I mean, he only has 2,000 TA on it. So, yeah.
That's like one achievement, basically, in this game.
Right. Yeah, he might have put like 6 more hours into it or something. Who knows?
Right. Some other things I wanted to talk about, though, as far as the gameplay. I guess set piece would be the way to talk about it. Some of the mission set pieces are really cool, like really clever. And I mean, I'm not an ace pilot, or I don't know anything really about how it works, but it seemed practical enough to me. Like I was saying, flying through the stealth clouds and icing wings and the like, yeah, that makes sense. So there was, like I said, some stealth missions. You have to do that. One of my favorite ones was you have to maintain low altitude and basically like fly through like the Grand Canyon, not the Grand Canyon, but fly through a canyon to avoid being detected on the enemy radar. So you and your team, you just go super low, and when you get low, your plane beeps at you the whole time. So it's screaming at you, low altitude, pick up, the whole time. It's by design, and they even talk about it in the chatter, like, man, these beeps are getting, really annoying. And then your commander's like, that's how you know you're doing it right. And but you got to fly through the canyons and stay low to avoid radar. That was cool. There's lots of night operations, so it's harder to see. And then there's just lots of, dogfights in the air to air. But then there's lots of ground, take out the SAMs and the AA guns, and there's lots of take out some ships and stuff too. So it's not just plane versus plane. They really mixed up the combat. So to that is what I want to get into. My favorite aspect of the game is the aircraft customization. So it'll tell you ahead of the mission, like, hey, this, it's only enemy aircraft. So you're like, okay, so I'm gonna do some homing missiles and some, what are they, like scatter missiles? You shoot one and then they turn into 7 or something like that. because that's all I need for aircraft. But then the next mission is, hey, it's all ground combat, so you got to take out ships and bunkers. So then you got to change your loadout, and now I'm going to do a bunker buster and like just a bomb or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll change your view from underneath, and you got to aim. There's a lot of variety in the loadouts, and you can screw yourself. Like if you put bunker busters in both your slots on an air combat mission, congrats, you have to do the whole thing with a machine gun because you're a moron. It told you not to do that. So it's a lot of fun. There's no right or wrong answer other than the obvious: ground is good for ground and air missiles are good for air. It's just a lot of fun. Like if you replay the missions with a different loadout, it would definitely give you a good experience. A lot of replayability there. I guess that would make the 4 required playthroughs a little more tolerable. Again, I didn't go for that, but it's a lot of fun. I genuinely enjoyed just playing with the loadouts and unlocking new missiles, and you can unlock new planes. And I'm not like an aircraft guy. I know the Raptor and the F-16 and the I know the common ones, but you can pick all sorts of different planes. So if you're into that, like, oh, I want to fly this one, and then certain planes don't have the capability to hold this kind of missile. Like it's pretty cool just to mix and match and do what you want to do for each mission. So I liked that a lot.
In listening to you talk about it, I can hear that the passion in your voice for this, and just for this the style of game. I guess I don't know. You're rattling off things that I would not be able to rattle off. I'm just not really into this world and everything. So I was like, man, X is really into the aerial vehicular combat, and so I thought I'd look up the genre just to see, like. I expected to see like really high up on like the leaderboard or something, the way you were talking about it. Like,
oh no, not that.
You're not at all. Like it looks like you had hardly played any of them. Like you ranked 2,839th. But the way you were talking, I was like, man, I bet he's like way up there or something.
Oh no, it's not like a secret passion of mine or anything like that. It's not even like a guilty pleasure. Like I'm not trying to hide it, but yeah, I played Ace Combat 6. I played Ace Combat with the spin-off one, Horizons or something like that.
Huh?
And then 7, I don't even know what other aerial combat games I would have on my tag. But I really just like Ace Combat is what it boils down to.
And see, I had never even heard of Ace Combat, like the series at all. So that was why I made.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, you know what? I'm genuinely surprised to hear that. I feel like most people would be aware of the series. It's been around since PS1.
Yeah, it looks like most of yours are actually car-based vehicular combat. I guess it includes car-based ones because you got things like Loco Cycle, Zombie Driver, stuff like that on yours.
Now you have me curious. I'm gonna have to look up what aerial games do I have on my tag as I'm cruising through.
I went with vehicular combat because the way you were talking about all these, dodging and diving and blowing things,
ducking and dodging
and bulleting and missiling and
gotcha.
Things like
no, I don't really care for vehicular combat, but aerial combat, I'm all for.
Yeah, I think I must have clicked on the wrong one, but I thought. Oh, I clicked on. Yeah, I thought I just ran them together because it's listed as aerial and vehicular combat, and I just assumed.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
that's what it's labeled as genre: aerial, vehicular combat.
Right.
There's no aerial combat, I guess.
I think I read it together as aerial vehicular combat.
Oh, okay. So you just clicked on the second half.
Yeah, so that was.
I see.
That was me wasting your time. Yes, sorry about that.
It's what that was.
That was exactly what that was.
It's fine. We're pretty good at wasting each other's time. Hopefully, not wasting our listeners' time.
No.
Ooh.
Yikes. Yeah, indeed. No. Okay, so.
Oh man. So the last thing I want to talk about is the multiplayer.
Oh my god.
What?
So I looked up aerial. You're like even worse on that one. Like,
oh, you know why? No, actually, I totally know why. Because there's all those the baby games, the Airy, that come out just like one every other week, where it's just 1,000 points in the aerial genre.
And you haven't played
I haven't played any of those.
Okay, Yeah.
Like the paper airplane and the bird. There's 20,000 of them, and they're all stacked. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the aerial genre is
ruined.
diluted, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised at all to hear that.
Okay.
So the last thing I want to talk about with Ace Combat 7 is the multiplayer. And perhaps you're thinking, wait a minute, X talking about multiplayer? I thought he doesn't do multiplayer. I don't do multiplayer except in Ace Combat because it's a lot of fun. Like, it's genuinely a blast. You can pick everything you've unlocked for the campaign, basically. If you hop into multiplayer right off the bat, you're going to have a bad time, which to me is bad gameplay design. Like, if I don't care about the campaign, I just want to do multiplayer, you're at a disadvantage. So, but that is what it is. So you have your whole loadout, everything you unlock for the campaign, and then you do get money for playing multiplayer. So you can actually unlock stuff in the campaign from multiplayer. They have a symbiotic relationship there, to say the least. But there's Battle Royale, be the last one standing, TDM, get the most kills, the classic like you'd expect from any shooter, but it's all dogfights basically. And you might think like if you have ever hopped on, not you personally, I know you haven't, but listeners, if you've hopped on an old fighting game, there's only like 5 people still playing it, and they're all gods, and you stand no chance. You might think Ace Combat is like that because the game is now 6 years old, like I said, but it has a pretty decent. Like, I didn't have to wait for a match, and I didn't get obliterated. Like, it's not just the actual aces still playing. I honestly, I won one of my first matches in 6 years. I'm not as good as I used to be, but I'm still holding my own. So there's definitely a good community of all skill levels going, and I think that's probably just a testament to how good the gameplay has held up, that people still want to play it. And I really hope they do a sequel soon. To be honest, the game came out in 2019, so I haven't heard anything of an Ace Combat 8, but I really hope they do it. It'll be a rare day one from me, essentially, because I do really like this series.
I mean, there's already 7 of them, so let's not get greedy now. That's just, But just a mid-episode update. Airy is not part of the aerial genre. So
Alan, I have no idea why I'm so low.
Come up with another excuse. Yeah, I'm sorry. Would you like to guess what genre Airy is in?
They just make it adventure.
Yeah, there you go, adventure. I say I would.
Is that it?
Yeah. I would have guessed simulator because
boring.
it's so it's just like being a bird. It's so lifelike.
It's just like your train game should be on rails, right?
That's right, indeed. Yeah, it's a good thing I'm not on that committee.
But yeah, no, it's like I said, I had a blast playing it back when I did, and I fired it back up because I was reminded of how much I enjoyed it, and it's still just as much fun all this time later. So
cool. So last week I pointed out that I had talked about a beat 'em up for 3 straight weeks, and possibly 4 weeks. I had lost count of how many consecutive weeks I had talked about a beat 'em up, and I was let you know that the streak was going to come to an end this week. And so this week I lied, and I did.
Is anybody surprised? Did anybody believe
My heart
him?
was in the right spot. I really was going to play this little one, but I think I pushed it out in at least another week, 2 weeks, or however many weeks it is. But I went with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind. It's a new beat 'em up relatively new. It came out in December, but it's very well received. I was pleased to see that. And on the crappy TA rating system that doesn't mean anything, it has a 4.46. So that's pretty high on the crappy TA rating board. And it has 31 Chivos, just shy of 3K TA, so 2K TAD. It's a nice little beat 'em up. And so why is this thing good? It's actually fun. It's a novel idea. This game is actually fun to play. It stands out amongst beat 'em ups. I've played them all, or in the process of playing them all.
Yeah, he really has. He really has.
Yeah, and a lot of them are clunky. They're either too slow or they just are just unfair. And it's just there's always something that I just can't. It just bothers me that And, you know, all the things I pointed them out of the last few weeks, all the things that bum me out about different ones. And this one did none of them. It's just like fun to play. It has varied stages. It's like a hybrid beat 'em up that has other little modes like snuck in there, you know, like a little stage here where you're on a like a motorcycle. So I'm sure you'll enjoy it because it's like vehicular combat and you're pretty, you know, high on those
Oh,
leaderboards.
I apparently am in the top 2,000.
And so there's those kind of stages, and there's another stage where you're in some kind of mech and you're just running around, and it's like a shoot 'em up, and you're not beaten up at that point, but then you get right back to the beat 'em up, and it's varied. And so there's different types of little mini stages, I guess, to it, and it's fluid, like it's quick, so but not too where you can't control the characters like that one what is it, the Chun-Li ripoff and the
Oh, yeah.
Night Slashers. But the enemies are fair. The health drops are well spaced, so you know you're rewarded for getting to that point with, you know, needing health, like not dying in the previous battle. So they're pretty well spaced out. And it's the right amount of challenge regardless of the difficulty. The bosses are unique. Each one has its own little thing, and it's just got a lot going for it. It's just a enjoyable game. It doesn't get tied up into like having to do different combos, and there's a combo meter on it, and it doesn't like evaporate between enemies where you have to like do a diving hit to keep the combo going. It's you know, well paced on that. It has a power up
So
attack.
what you're saying is it's just a beat 'em up, not a combo 'em up.
Right. And there's no block button. So, you know, it's not a block 'em up. I like that when you said that. Yeah, it's not block 'em up, and it's like the power up attack doesn't take away your health or anything like that, but you have to build it up. It just does it all. It's actually fun to play. There's no really big gripes here about it. It's just a nice, straightforward, modern day beat 'em up that just plays well, and it keeps you going. And it's not too gruesome in terms of, you know, 120 to 150 hour completion or anything like that. It's probably like a 50.
Who would put one of those up on the
Right.
podcast?
Yeah, this one's really
What
easy.
kind of moron would do that?
You don't have to worry about putting your pilot's license on hold to play this. You can just jump right in and do 15, 20 hours and get the completion and move on into the next one. So the achievement list for this, it has a varied list. It has 31 achievements, as I mentioned. And again, the game is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Rita's Rewind. It has 14 stages. It's divided into 5 episodes. So it's very doable. 14 little stages. Some of them are very quick. It's like almost like a bonus stage that they turned into a stage, if you will. There's 2 stages where you're on a motorcycle, and those are really quick stages.
Actually, I saw, since we just cut each other off in the middle of things
Sure.
and make each other go out of order, I saw there's an achievement, one-way street, for completing a bike level without triggering a time loop.
That actually,
and I was intrigued by that.
yeah. So that is time. That is.
I was thinking Battletoads.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's no. It's not like the Turbo Tunnel or anything like that. The time loop actually ties into what the plot of the game is. The plot of the game is like any other Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. You just got to, you know, beat up the bad guys and whatnot. It's not like it's super deep or anything like that. But the gimmick of this one, I should say, is that there is like these little canisters of kind of like changing the time continuum, I guess. And so they'll, like during the stage, they'll march out with these time canisters and they'll throw it out there. And you have to destroy the time canister while beating up all the enemies before it explodes. If it explodes, then it rewinds your game. That's hence the name Rita's Rewind, for the, you know, after the colon of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for the game, which is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, colon, Rita's Rewind.
Why do we need to know about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers colons? What kind of game are you playing here?
Well, we're clearing out the colons with this rewind. See, they just, so like, let's say that you ate a bunch of food. Let's say you ate too many burritos or something. you could wait for one of these time canisters to explode, and it would back you up to the time before you ate those burritos, and then you could choose whether or not you wanted to eat the burritos at that point. It like rewinds it, like literally whatever you did. It almost plays like one of those classic remake games of, where they re-release a game and then you can like rewind and safe scum it until you beat it. And so it's kind of like that. Okay. And so, but except for you have no control over it, it just rewinds you. I don't know. It's like
it's like a core gameplay.
Yes. That's kind of the gimmick of the game, is that the time loop continuum is being altered. And so most of the stage, I'd say, I don't want to say every stage has it, but I think like almost all of them, like 10 out of the 14 have some kind of time loop thing in them where you have to beat up the time loop thing. And so when you get to the time loop canister the second time, the damage that you did to it's still there. So I'm not sure how that makes sense, but so then you'll eventually destroy it.
The canister exists outside of the timeline.
Right. And
one thing I've learned with time travel plot lines is don't try and make sense of the time travel plot line. Just roll with it. That's how they're doing. Okay.
That makes sense. Yeah.
That's fine with me.
That applies here.
Don't overthink it. Otherwise you'll get so frustrated.
Yep. And it can help you in the sense that if you're playing it on a hard mode, and let's say you just are having a bad battle, because you do have to play for the completion, you do have to play through on the hardest two difficulties. So if you're on the hardest difficulty and you're just doing a terrible job, you can let that sucker explode and then it'll rewind you and then just retry it, and then if you do better, go ahead and destroy the canister and keep going, kind of thing. So it can help you in a way. That won't help you with some of the level requirements. So there is a time limit on each level, which I'll get to in a second.
Yeah. What is this, Mario Bros from the 80s?
I'll get to those in a second. It's not that bad, actually. In the 31 Chivos, there's 14 stages divided in 5 episodes. I mentioned that. So each one of the episodes gets one. So there's 5 achievements for completing each episode. And then there's 6 more for the bosses that exist. So each time you beat one of the bosses, you get an achievement. So that's 11. So that's a good chunk of them. And then the other 20 are kind of divided up a little more varied. So there's 2, as I mentioned, for difficulty-based ones. There is the hard mode, and then, there's the casual mode, the X mode, and then there's the hard mode.
Hey.
And then the third one is headache. That's what they call their hardest difficulty, is headache mode. I played it through the first time on hard mode, and that it wasn't too terrible. So the Elroy pro tip here is, and it's not really my pro tip, this one's actually on TA, is that you can add in a controller if you're about to die, and then just let your main controller die, and then you basically get 2 extra lives on a new controller. And so you can do that with 4 controllers. So basically you can have 8 lives. There's no reason why you can't beat the difficulty ones unless you're just really bad at beat 'em ups, or if you don't own 4 controllers. So I think the highest I ever got was to my 3rd controller, and I was just really doing a poor job on that run. And it was,
that's some like top tier cheese right there. I really like that.
Yeah. It's
whoever figured that out was thinking outside the box for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, pop right in and no penalty for that. So yeah, it made it a breeze. I played through hard mode, and then I played through on headache mode immediately after that, because I was afraid they might patch it out or something.
Patch that, right. So do all the characters play the same? Like, you put controller 1 down, you pick up controller 2. Now you're the Blue Ranger.
Yes.
Does he play exactly the same as the Red? Okay.
As best I could tell, I couldn't tell any difference. Again, maybe on some of the more advanced combos, if you're trying those, I don't even know that there's really any advanced combos in this game, to be honest. I just punched everyone in the face until they went down, and a few jump kicks here and there, but it's not that challenging, honestly, even on the hardest mode. Okay. Now I will say that the bosses play, or will give you more of a fight on the harder modes, because there's this one achievement that I'll get to in a second, where you have to basically hit the green ranger without getting hit. And so if you played that through on hard first, which I did, and then you play it through on headache second, which I did, you're like, how in the hell am I supposed to beat this guy without even getting hit? I can't even beat him without dying. And basically you got to do it on easy mode. And so once I got to him on easy mode, I mean, he just like walks around and watches you. And so it's
just a roll at that point.
Yeah. And so there's a really cool cheese method on it that somebody from, I don't know, some Spanish speaking country posted on it. And it shows you exactly how to do it. And I'll get to that in a second, my experience with that method. And a couple of achievements for killing enemies in a variety of ways, but you'll just basically get those automatically because there's so many enemies on the screen. So like the boulder, one's for like a boulder, another's one is for throwing them in a grave. I mean, they'll jump in the grave themselves. Like you don't even have to do anything. Like they just run and fall into the graves, and then the boulders they'll jump up and get hit. I mean, you'll just get those. Those are just like gimmies. You just have to get to that stage.
That's funny, actually. I'm looking at the achievement list. I like some of the ones you've mentioned. I like the names of them. They're clever.
Yeah, oh yeah.
6 feet under for throw an enemy into a grave.
Yeah.
You know, rock star into a boulder. Rock'em Stock'em for 9 punches in a row. The names are clever. They put some effort into it. I like it.
Yeah, they had fun with the game. You could tell it was well done. It wasn't rushed. You can tell that. And yeah, there's a couple of challenging, fun to attempt achievements. I would say fun to attempt. The first one, and these are like the 4 that are the big ones on the game. So I guess beating it on headache mode, I think, is technically the highest ratio achievement, but I don't think that was the most challenging one because of the controller trick. So, but I think it technically has the highest ratio. And these are the other ones that kind of have a high ratio, I suppose. The first one is for getting all the level requirements. So there's 3 level requirements per stage. There's one for getting all the secrets, not dying, and for the time requirement. Now, there are some achievement or some collectibles in this game. There's 3 achievements tied to those, but there's a video that shows you exactly where they all are. And so it's easy. I mean, it's not.
How many are we talking though? Like
there's 20.
1,000 collectibles or like 2 per level?
There's at most 2, sometimes 1. There's 20 in the whole game, and and that includes a second achievement, which is for finding 4 random people that are hidden in the game. I'm sure that people that know more about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers than I would know who these characters were, but I had no idea who these people were. I just know that one of them was hiding in a dumpster, which is kind of gross, and then like another one was hiding in some plants, which seemed more reasonable. But yeah, all you have to do is like punch the dumpster and out pops the person, and they're like, hey, you found me. So I mean, it's not very challenging, I suppose. But and again, there actually wasn't anything on TA telling you where those people were, but it was so easy I found them. There was only one I struggled to find, and I can't remember which one it was. I think it was the one that was like in the garage or something. There's like a car garage that you can kind of enter it. I didn't know you could enter it, and it's off to the left or something. But anyway, those are not an issue. Like the video shows you exactly where they are, and you can get all 20 of them, and bada bing, bada boom, you're done with those. Those aren't the problem ones. Now, the time ones actually are not bad at either. On easy mode, you'll just fly through the game, because on the time canisters, it's kind of challenging not to destroy the time canister before it explodes. I'm sure that it's possible, but I mean, I destroy the time canister every time, first try. Like it's just that your punches are so much stronger in that mode, and the enemies are less aggressive, and so it's super easy on easy mode. And so the time requirements are not bad. There was only one that was a little close, and I think it was because there's not much you could do to speed it up, because it was like an on rails type mini game where you're on a roller coaster.
Gotcha. Okay. One where you can't just speed through, basically.
It was hard to speed it up. So, but yeah, the time ones are not really the issue. Now, the no death ones, that's the one that are probably a little bit tougher for people, even on easy mode, because there's just a couple of stages that are just not quite there. The one where you're in some kind of mech thing, and you're like running along shooting everything.
Is that Megazord?
No.
Is Megazord your mech?
No, it was actually dinosaurs. I don't know. They're like running around in dinosaur costumes or something. I don't really know.
I know literally nothing about Power
See,
Rangers, for the record.
it's funny you say that because it's almost like I was going to give you 3 whole things that I learned from this game at the end, about things that I did not know about Power Rangers, but, I can go with something else. But yeah, they were riding in dinosaurs. I had no idea that there was dinosaurs in Power Rangers. I don't know, and I guess I should have known because, my game share partner, Rocker, I think his icon or whatever his
It is a Power Rangers
yeah, it's
dinosaur,
a
you're
and
right.
I never
Why do I know that?
yeah, and
You're right, though.
I just never made the connection. I don't know, but
Shoot.
they are riding dinosaurs. I don't know why. Well, they're not all dinosaurs technically. They're uh, like one's a woolly mammoth and one's like I think a saber-toothed tiger. So not technically dinosaurs, but from that time period ish. But yeah,
That's big-ish.
yeah, it's a few thousand of years, maybe. Yeah,
Million years apart.
yeah. But so I don't know if they just couldn't think of any more dinosaurs or something. I mean, there's some pretty cool dinosaurs they skipped over. The only ones I saw were, I mean, I don't think anybody was a brontosaurus. I mean, brontosaurs are pretty cool, or an ankylosaurus, swinging that big old tail around. Those are pretty cool. I think they were.
Even a Stegosaurus is
Yeah,
pretty
I don't
cool.
even think there was a Stegosaurus. I think it was like.
That's such oh,
I think
man.
there was a Tyrannosaurus Rex, a Triceratops, and then I can't remember. A pterodactyl that.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say, is there a flying one? There has to
yeah,
be a
yeah,
pterodactyl.
yeah. No, this one didn't have to pee. This one was a pterodactyl, and the and there was that 3 of them, and then there's I think a woolly mammoth and a saber-tooth tiger or something. But anyway,
I would be, if I was like a Power Ranger, I know they like assemble and do their thing. If
yeah.
like I summoned, like we all summon our dinosaurs, and like you get a T-Rex and you get a pterodactyl, and then a woolly mammoth shows up for me, I'd be a
Well,
little
yeah,
disappointed.
right. That's kind of no, and then and then the other question I had is like then they become one giant Voltron ripoff, and it's like why didn't you become like a ginormous dinosaur or something, like a big old brachiosaurus or something, and just
That's true. How do
why?
5 extinct critters turn into a mech Yeah, that I never thought of
Yeah,
that.
like it didn't make any sense to me, and seems like it would be off balance anyway because the pterodactyl seems like it'd be smaller than a Tyrannosaurus Rex, but I don't.
Right, there's some weird ratios going on
Yes.
here.
So are we back to the suspension of disbelief again, or is that where?
Right.
So yeah, but apparently they're all dinosaurs, and with the section that you're a dinosaur running around shooting things with your dinosaur lasers, it can get a little dicey. There's a lot of things that you can run into, and the health drops are a little more spaced out or random in drops, and so there was a couple of those that were challenging to get with the no death, but that wasn't the one that took me the longest. The one that took me the longest was freaking chicken and turkey bird. That boss battle. There's like 2 bird guys. One's like a fat chicken, and the other one's like looks like a turkey. I guess it's a turkey bird or something. I don't know. Jerky
I saw
turkey,
that they have
turkey, yeah,
names.
turkey,
What the heck is
jerky turkey or something. Turkey jerk, yeah, turkey jerk,
oh,
yeah.
no.
And I don't know what.
Yep, turkey jerk and chunky
Chunky
chicken.
chicken. Okay, so fat chicken. Yeah, I was close. So yeah, I was gonna call him chicken nugget. I couldn't think of what his name was. So yeah, the chicken and the turkey boss. That man, I could, for some reason it was like not even one of the. It's like the second boss, I think, maybe a third at most. But man, I just could not get that one down because you have to beat the entire stage first before you get to him, and there's no health drops on that. And so even on easy, you'll get chipped down a little bit, and then you're dealing with 2 moving things, and like the fat chicken guy, he's cheap, man. He's like bush league, man. He has like a little portal, and he'll come like knife you in the back like every second he gets. And meanwhile, the turkey guy, he's just like charging at you and just like giving you everything. And oh man, throwing explosives. I don't know. It was a tougher boss battle than I think it's probably the toughest boss battle besides maybe the main one. And to get the no death on it was very challenging for me. It got down to I think 1 health bar. I was like, no, I don't want to have to keep doing this. And so finally I beat up. Once you kill Turkey Bird, then it gets so much easier because the chicken dude, he's not that great. And so I was able to beat him with just 1 health. But man, getting to that point, whoo, man, that was tough. And you have to like time it with your special attack so that you kill him before Turkey Bird starts spinning around with his laser. And it's.
I was gonna say, so my favorite achievement in the game, just scrolling through the list, is completely avoided Turkey Jerk's laser, and the achievement is called Disco Giblets.
I didn't see what it's called, Disco Giblets, but that's awesome. Yeah, that's good. That's a good one. Yeah, yeah. He like spins around while the fat chicken's up in the air, like flapping his wings, and so you just got to jump over it, and he just spins in a circle, and you got to, it's kind of like doing jump rope or what have you. But that one wasn't too bad actually, because all you have to do is get him, avoid the first wave of it, and then get his health down and just launch your special, and then it doesn't really matter if you die at that point. And then that avoids having him do it twice, because on the second one he speeds up a lot. And that's kind of the theme with the other two that are tough achievements to get, which are the Green Ranger no hit achievement and the Woes Waves achievement. Those are the two that I haven't got yet, and I'm kind of salty about it, to be honest, because like on the Surfs Up, so Surfs Up achievement completely avoided Woes Waves. Woe is like some ghostly boss lady. When you're fighting her, she'll basically retreat from the battle where you can't hit her, and then she either throws like meteors at you or a row of waves. There's like 5 waves that come at you, and you have to jump over them and not get hit by the waves. Now you have to avoid the first set of those. And why I'm salty is that I was kind of halfway going for this achievement while I was trying to get all the level requirements. I did it first try, like jumped over the waves, bam, 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 bam. And I was just like, whoa, that was really easy. And then I had played another game like before I played that. Like I was kind of doing a couple of different games. And so I was coming back to this game after a little bit of a break, and I couldn't remember what button it was for the special or when I was supposed to hit it. And so I hit her one time too many, and then she went back up and sent another row of waves at me. And of course I got hit at that point, and I was like, oh man. And then, but I thought, well, I got here first try, and no problem. I cannot freaking jump over those waves again to save my life. If I just hit the stupid button at the right time, I would have had this achievement and I moved on with my life. I've tried this achievement at least, gosh, I think like 15 times, and you have to get through the entire stage to get to. So you have to play the entire stage to get to the boss, and then, beat up on her a little bit, and then finally the waves come. And then like I get hit by the first one, I'm just like, oh, and it's just so frustrating. And so, yeah, so I'm gonna eventually get it, but man, that makes me mad. And then the other one was defeating Green with MV is the achievement for defeating the Green Ranger without being hit. And
that sounds like a spoiler.
It's really not. It's just watch the video on how to do it. All you have to do is like jump, kick him, and then.
No, I mean the fact that you have to fight the Green Ranger sounds like a spoiler.
Are you familiar with who the Green Ranger is? Because there was another thing on.
Oh, is Green not on your team? Is Green a bad guy?
I might have had a list at the end of the top 3 things I didn't know about this wonderful game, and right. And one of those on that list might have hypothetically been that I didn't realize that the Green Ranger was not one of the main characters. Apparently, the Green Ranger is
clearly you're not alone.
Yeah, the Green Ranger. This has got to be really frustrating for someone that's a fan of the series. I mean, we probably sound completely ignorant about this whole series. You
know what though? I will share my one tidbit of Power Rangers knowledge that okay. I don't know if everyone knows this, but here we go. So the original one, it was some like Japanese show that had nothing to do with the American version. So they just cast some actors, mm-hmm. and then they were clipping together this random Japanese show with the American actors, right? But in Japan, the Yellow Ranger was a guy, but in the American version, they made Yellow Ranger a girl. So the Pink Ranger has a skirt on her outfit to designate that she's a female, but the Yellow Ranger does not, even though it's a female that gets in. Because in the Japanese footage, it was a guy, so the guy wouldn't have a skirt on. So there's my factoid. They gender bent the Yellow Ranger.
Does the Yellow Ranger have a horse face?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay. So Well, since I've already told you 2 amazing facts of things that I didn't know about the Power Rangers, let me just throw in the third one, which is that the blue face guy. It's like a floating, ghostly blue face dude. I think he's in one of the
No.
achievements. I've seen this guy in the background of the other Power Ranger game I played. I think his name might be Zordon. If you look at the Zordon's Insight achievement, I believe that's his face in the artwork for it. But it's like this floating head that
Okay. I do know who you're talking about,
okay,
actually.
yeah. So he was always in the background of the game that was the fighting game that took a long time to get all the achievements, and you had to rank up as a fighting game. It was like a G-Test darling. Everyone played it for G-Test and got level 50,
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So this one. So I thought that guy was the main bad guy, but apparently he's the main good guy. I mean, I didn't know that.
Oh,
yeah. The chick that has
who knew?
the chick that has the cone boobs is the main bad guy apparently. So
that's Rita, right?
Yeah, it's her rewind.
Okay. Yeah. Why do I know that?
Yeah, it's the name. The game's named after her, and I think in this one there's some robotic version of her or something. I don't know. It wasn't really. There was very quick cutscene edits in the opening sequence, but it looked like a robotic version of her comes out of the sewer and she's surprised, but then she's oh wow, this person knows what they're doing, and then chaos unfolds or something. I don't know. It wasn't really explained. So yeah. Maybe it was in some of the cutscenes I skipped later, but yeah. So
come on, man.
So with the MV achievement, you have to defeat the Green Ranger without being hit, and I swear to you, man, I did it first try. I beat that guy.
This story again. I swear I did it on the first try.
I beat him like an Apache drum, my man. I whooped up on him and like a rented mule, if you will. And I don't know why I didn't get the achievement. I'm gonna have to do. I've only attempted it once, and I thought I had it. I thought, well, there's a little delay. There haven't been any delays on any other pops, but I did get hit by the laser that the giant other robot dinosaur looking thing was shooting at me. But in the description, it says that doesn't count. However, I would disagree because I don't believe I got touched at all. But anyway, it wasn't really that challenging. I think I'll be able to get it no problem. But if I just get it where it recognizes that I did it, and then remember how to jump over 4 stupid freaking waves. I don't know why. It's in my head now. You ever have one of those achievements where it's just it's not that challenging. It's not that challenging, but it's in your head now, and it's just you tense up when you get to it.
Yep.
I'm like, oh God, if I get hit by one of these stupid waves, I'm gonna have to play this game for 15 minutes more because I'm gonna have to play through this whole stage again. And and then of course, first sometimes I swear I hit the jump button and didn't even jump. It's the only time in the game where I've had any problems with the controllers. And so I hit jump and
you're trying to go for these specific achievements.
And it's just the thing, man. I don't know. This achievement, some achievements they got it in for you. I don't know. It's something's going on with this one. But so hopefully I'll have a nice update that I got the completion next time we talk. But oof, man.
Until then,
man, it's been a struggle on this. So anyhow, but great game. I would recommend it to anyone, especially if you're actually a fan of the series and know anything about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, as we clearly do not. I did.
Right.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about this? We have no business discussing
we really don't. Yeah. I apologize if it made you want to throw whatever device you were listening to this podcast on out the window to get our talk of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers out of your life. I do apologize. I did learn a lot, though, as you can tell. I mean, dinosaurs.
Did you?
Dinosaurs, man. It's got dinosaurs in
it. And mammoths?
Yeah, dinosaurs and prehistoric creatures. I don't know.
That's the way to put it, prehistoric creatures.
There you go.
Why are we just thinking of this now? Because again, we have no business talking about this.
Turn into Voltron ripoff. I mean, it was actually like a ripoff of the Transformers. What were the Transformers series of the dinosaurs called? I can't remember. I just remember Grislock and oh man, they had a Stegosaurus though. Transformers did.
Stegosauri?
Yes,
What's the plural? Are freaking cool, man.
yeah, they are. I mean,
Always like them.
and they say that they're like one of the newer dinosaurs, right? Like, aren't they like a second generation dinosaur, or third generation? Like one of the
Oh, I thought they were the oldest. Maybe I have it backwards. Stegosaurus and T-Rex are farther apart than we are with T-Rex.
yeah. I think the Stegosaurus is one of the newer ones, if it's my understanding.
Oh, I have it backwards then.
I
Okay.
think don't. I mean, I don't know. That sounds like an update
I
section.
don't know.
We'll what
We'll brush up on our dinosaur timelines. Sorry.
What Dinobots? That's the name of it. Yeah, Grimlock. I think I called him Grislock. Grimlock. Golly, everyone's probably yelling at the television or the
Poor Mike Pitch is just gonna like unsubscribe at this point.
right.
You don't know. He is our resident Power Ranger. I think that's his true calling.
I'm more upset that I called him Grislock instead of Grimlock than I am about anything I say about Power Rangers. This should be in my wheelhouse. I grew up with Transformers, so yeah. And there's definitely a Stegosaurus. I can't think.
Isn't the Red Ranger's name Jason?
One of them is. I
feel like you should know that of all things.
I thought it was the green one, but I think you're right.
I don't know. We gotta stop talking about Power Rangers, man. So, for baby games, just to cut this.
Yes, mercifully, mercifully.
Right. So you were talking about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind, which has a lot of letters, and I'm going to talk about Artifex Mundi,
Ooh.
which has not as many letters, but a lot of letters.
It has a lot. It has a lot of diamonds in it, though.
It does. It does. So I'm not focusing on one specific game here. We know what the Artifex Mundi games are, right? Artifex Mundi, where are you? I miss you. So we had Tibetan Quest in January 2024, and then we had Tiny Tales in March 2024, and then we had Chronicles of Magic in May 2024, Faces of Illusion in June 2024, and then Agent Walker in July 2024, and we have not had a game since. That is over 6 months that I have not gotten my Artifex Mundi fix. So people in Poland with your weird engine where everyone like sways from side to side as they talk, where are you? I miss you. I want to give you my $15 every couple months. You're not letting me do that. So Artifex Mundi, please come back. Please come back to me.
If you found yourself in a situation where you had to get through some glass, you may not even remember to use a diamond at this point.
It's been so long since I have had to cut glass with a diamond. We've said it on the podcast before, but whenever Elroy and I play one of these games, whenever you have to cut glass with a diamond, we text each other a picture.
I did it.
It's been so long since we've shared this experience together.
Man, now you're making me want to go brush up on the ones I missed.
And there's always a raccoon too. We always text each other the raccoon. You always have to feed a raccoon to get him out of the way.
Yes. Yeah, because
that's the only way to move him is to give him a candy bar.
Exactly. A stick does not work.
So Artifex Mundi, please, I want to give you $15 more. Please let me do that. Please let me do that.
Right. Or you have like a pistol. It's like you want to use the pistol on the raccoon, and then she's like, "I don't think that's going to work." No, I'm pretty sure it will. I'm pretty sure that'll take care of your problem right there.
Right. I literally have a monkey wrench.
Yeah.
Can't use that on the glass. No, I gotta go find a diamond.
I don't think that'll
Which
work.
I then just toss aside when I'm not gonna need this.
Right. Yeah, this nice big diamond. It's
right. Bigger than my fist. Yeah, who needs that?
Right. I'm just gonna everything just breaks after you use it. It's crazy. For my baby game, I went with Tiny Little Farm, but big on the gamer score. So it's a relaxing little game. It's got 2,000 gamer score, but guess what?
What?
There's not one version of it. There's not two versions of it. but there are 3 whole versions of this game in the sense that
What, Xbox One,
X.
Xbox Series, and then Windows?
Yep.
And right up your alley.
Yep. 3 versions, 2K each, 6K right in the bank. And all you got to do is just stick some crap in the ground, water it, sell it to the store, and bleep, bloop, your way to your 6K. So I enjoyed this game in the sense that it was just relaxing. I like a nice, peaceful, relaxing game with peaceful music and just kind of chill vibe to it. And this one was like that. I mean, you're just growing crops. I mean, how stressful can that be? And I can actually tell you how stressful that is because there is another baby game called Agriculture that's, I think, by East Asia Soft, but Agriculture has the same concept where you're just sticking crap in the groundwater and sending it to the store. However, there's a clock and you have so much time to do it in, and it gets pretty hectic, to be honest. And it's kind of a hybrid baby game in the sense that it requires it's a toddler game, as you said.
I'm so glad I coined this term.
Indeed. I think your toddler game is kind of like my Plat Failer. I'm pretty proud of the Plat Failer. So yeah. All right. But this one, nice and easy, peaceful. You'll get all the achievements. You're really just sitting there, just like, and you'll get them faster the second time and the third time because you know exactly what to do. But it's actually got a fishing game in it, which again, just nice, peaceful. You're just out at the farm growing things, fishing, and the fishing game is probably one of the coolest parts of the game. It has a pretty cool fishing meter. You just throw the thing out, and then you got to keep the little meter. The fish is like moving around on the right, and you got to kind of pump up the meter to where it is, and it's kind of like I don't know what you would call that, like where you pump it and it like goes up but then it slowly comes down, like an air pump almost like. And so you got
whatever mechanic that is.
And so you got like pump it up, and then if it starts going down, you got stop, and it catches up to it, and then he's on the move again. You go, it was kind of enjoyable, I'll be honest. But yeah, I don't know. I just like that. It was a nice, peaceful fishing mechanic. I don't know. But yeah, all in all, the game, not much to it. I mean, it's just a silly little baby game.
It's a silly little baby game, a tiny little farm.
But big on the gamer score. So you can do worse with your baby game selection. So
Okay, all right, I'm not going to play it, but that's a fair way to put it. You could do far worse, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So real quick, this is off topic and related to nothing. So last week in the game shop, we do our whatnot streams, blah blah blah. We know that. So I did a Switch only stream. So only selling Switch titles, right? Nintendo Switch. And for the 4 hours we were on, within the first 5 minutes, somebody's like, "Do you have any fishing games?" They're like, "We have pretty much everything, but no fishing games for Switch." And then for 4 hours, like every 10 minutes, someone would come in. "Do you have any fishing games?" And after like the 4th or 5th one, I was like, "All right, hang on. Like these are all different people. Like what is going on with fishing games?" Because everyone's asking. It turns out, I did not know this. None of the 3 of us working in the shop knew this. There is a healthy and thriving community on the Switch of gamers who play fishing games.
Really?
Like there are an abundance of fishing games for Switch. You can put your Joy-Con in a fishing pole controller so you can actually, reel in and, imitate fishing. But that is a thriving community on the Switch console, is fishing games. And I had no idea.
That's crazy.
I had no idea. It's a thing.
Wow.
So you were talking about fishing games. Like I need to enlighten the Xbox podcast, basically. That if you're into fishing games, you got to go to the Switch. Thriving community.
I'm impressed. I think that's really cool. I'm not going to knock that. So that's pretty neat. So
there we go. I'm spreading the good word, man.
Well, we're just learning this. We're learning all kinds of stuff today.
This is a very educational podcast this week, right?
I guess we're getting back to the basics, such as, learning the alphabet. Oh, but you see, there is a wonderful.
Oh, that was really good.
No, that one. So the next TA contest is the alphabet bingo. So apparently, according to my feed, everybody and their mother has signed up for that.
For real.
Like everyone just dropped, and everyone just like, just new year, new contest, yes. And so everyone's apparently in it. So good on everyone. And this one's kind of unique, I think, in the sense that I kind of like the leapfrog aspect of it. I'm curious to see how far some people take it, and because it has a limited viability, if you will. So I know you kind of grazed over it, but the thing that I'm intrigued by, so you get the bingo card. I mean, nothing new there, and then you get, I guess, random letters assigned to each square. So then you have to get an achievement with that one on there. But the thing that I think is cool about it is that each time you get an achievement, it goes up by 0.05 on the ratio. And so, you might want to start low and not unlock anything.
Right, you could kind of screw yourself right off the
Right.
bat there.
Like if you're not playing it continuous, like let's say you're working on an achievement in another game that has a high ratio, then bleep bloop, if that's one of your letters, then good luck. So I don't know if you can reset it.
Good luck to
All
you.
right. So
That's true. There might be a reset
I
option
don't
because
know.
it does say like try and.
Well, it says if you go to a second board that it's cumulative and that your ratio does not reset. So
Really?
yeah.
Okay.
So
Well, maybe not then.
that's what
I was getting at. Yeah.
So that's why I say it has kind of like a leapfrog aspect to it, in the sense that, are people really going to be doing this where you have to match not just an insane ratio, but to the letter? Like, I mean, you know how this community is. Like, somebody's going to take, somebody's going to do every achievement 0.05 from each other just to say they got the most. And they're going to have like, 200 of these things. And they're going to be matching them with like 14 ratios. And, it's just like, this is too much. I don't know.
You know what? What intrigues me the most, though, is the ratio is calculated beyond 2 decimal points.
Is it?
So, like, we only see it rounded to the hundredths position. So if it goes up by 0.05, if you have an achievement that would be like 0.048 higher, it's going to show 0.05, but technically it's not 0.05. So it was one of the Christmas contests 20 I lived in this apartment, so 2021, 2022, where they had the similar thing, the increasing ratio, and people were getting gypped out of achievements where like it says it's 0.5 higher
because of how it
but it was
rounded.
actually 0.49 because it wasn't rounding, it wasn't showing you that third digit. So people are like, "What? I unlocked this. What's happening? Why didn't it work?" And then I know people were trying to go, I think it was 0.5 there, but people were trying to do like 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. But it would actually be like 2.54, and then you'd have to do like 3.1 to sort of make up the difference. So
okay.
I'm wondering if they fixed that. I'm wondering if it's going to round and only count that hundredth digit. That was the first thing that came to my mind when I saw this, is your system is a little flawed to be doing something like that. So I hope they fix that.
Yeah, I really couldn't tell you if they had or not. So I forgot that was a thing.
Right, obviously we won't know until we know.
An update coming. Well, how about some milestones to close this out?
Yeah, speaking of updates, I actually have a pretty good one this week. My boy Isrit, that would of course be Isrit 102, in case the other 101 thought I was talking about them. But no, Isrit recompleted Gems of War, which is just insane to have that completed in any capacity at any point, let alone to continuously maintain and complete it with all the title updates. So, speaking of insane, Isrit has played this game for 26,608 hours.
Huh.
That's 5 digits, 26,000 hours, which is that's more than 1,000 days if you want to do some simple math there, which is more than 3 years of his life has been spent playing
Jeez.
Gems of War. If you do the math, that's wild to me. But that's a cool completion. There's only 10 people who have that.
That
And it's just insane. It's an insane accomplishment. So I'm gonna make fun of you for 3 years of your life spent on that game, but super cool recompletion, and congrats on that one, my guy.
That's really cool. That's tough to top, I'll be honest. But the best I got is my wonderful friend Jamal 2807. In case you need the other 2,806 of them.
But it does matter.
Yeah, but
the other Jamals out there just got really excited.
Yep.
Oh no, he didn't mean me.
Right. So Jamal2807, has become the Prince of True Achievements. So props to him. That's really, I'm not even sure what he did to do that, but he put it on as his feed. And so it's got to be true, right?
It's got to be true, I guess.
Right. So, I mean, I don't think you just throw that out there. So congrats to Jamal for being the Prince of True Achievements. I can't imagine the kind of red tape you had to go through to get, that approval process. Right. But yeah, that's really cool.
I guess, I guess if he just messaged Rich, maybe just no one had ever asked him before.
Yeah,
he's obviously the king. Like, can I be?
Right? Yeah.
Can I be your son? Can I be the prince? Maybe it was really that easy.
Yeah, I'll see if I can usurp Jamal2807 before the next one. That'll be in the update section.
I want to be the Viscount of True Achievements. This is fun.
You get on that. Apparently positions are going fast.
That's right.
They're filling positions now. So yeah. Well, anyhow, thank you everyone for giving us a listen and for being again so encouraging about all things, including Achievement Fest. And we will be back again in 2 weeks. So you got anything to plug?
Nothing to plug other than, follow Planet Retro Video Games on Whatnot.
There
if
you go.
Aren't already. That's cool. And also,
class dismissed.
Speaking of Planet Retro Video Games, the top 3 games that working in a retro game shop reminded me were a lot of fun in my childhood. Number 3, the Twisted Metal series. Number 2, Medieval 1 and 2. And number 1, Mario Superstar Baseball, man. I forgot all about that game.
I never played it, to be honest.
You're missing out. I don't like sports games. Mario Baseball is so much fun.
It spoke to you. For me, it's totally not a list that was made on the fly, given that I totally revealed my other list. But I do have the top 3 Dinobots that are not Grimlock. Number 3, Slag, the Triceratops. Number 2, Sludge, the Brontosaurus. And number 1, Snarl, the Stegosaurus. All right.
And with that, see ya.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 18 of Game Passible, the January 2025 edition, start of a brand new year. It is me, Freamhole, and I'm joined with my good friend here, Mr. Koosh Moose. How are you doing?
Hello. Not too bad. How are you?
Fantastic. After our extended holiday break, feeling refreshed, rejuvenated, we've come back with a vengeance like Game Pass. Took an extended period of time off, dealt with lots of sickness, and played lots of video games. So that's fun, right?
Nice. Yeah.
So, what have you been up to? Anything fun? I mean, I haven't talked to you in ages because our normal groups have gone into disarray for various reasons. But
all kinds of reasons.
We do spend Sundays mining together as best we can.
As best we can. Now, that's not Bitcoin mining, mind you. That's Deep Rock Galactic mining. Yes,
that is, and you and Fug like that game way more than I do.
Well, to be fair, Beer Me and Fug are the super fans.
That's true.
With more than 120 hours or something like that already.
That's true.
Yeah, but yeah, I've been doing what I can. I've been doing my homework.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I would say I've been just, gaming as much as I can, trying to hit some of these Game Passables before they leave. And then, January didn't seem like a whole lot was going on, but then boom.
Second half. Holy.
The end of January kind of, I don't want to say made up for it because I hate lulls.
Totally.
But it is coming with a vengeance. So.
Totally. And I was even thinking on the fly, because you're talking about things that are coming into the service, which are exciting. I'm thinking of the things that left the service at the end of January. And I'm like, there's a sigh of relief because 2 of those games I felt intrepid enough to start working on at the end of December in early January. And so when I saw the alert on mid-month, I was like, oh, thank God, I already did those. This is fantastic. I only have 2 tiny little games to do instead of 4.
Nice.
So anyway, because we took such a long break, we're not gonna really talk about the games that left the service back in December and some of the stuff in January. Maybe a couple things that we'll touch on of things we enjoyed to play or whatever. But it probably does make sense that we do touch on February, because if we didn't have a show in December, and so it's funny because February's in a couple of days, and so by the time this even airs, we'll know if half of these are correct or not. But there's a couple of things in here that are probably important to just throw out there, especially with the news that we saw today in the Twitter sphere. Is this is a PSA? Is MLB The Show 24? Now, Bloomy had this as an end of January, and it didn't happen. I didn't expect it to happen. And what I was thinking was happening is that it was a placeholder, that they put it in for a couple of months, and then MLB connects with Xbox and says, "Hey, how's the 2025 game going? When are we looking at launching? When is this thing going to leave the service? And when are we going to put the new one in?" That's what I assumed was going to happen. Turns out that's not going to happen, because the announcement today was that 2025 MLB The Show is indeed launching on March 18th, but it is not coming to a streaming service. It will not be part of Game Pass, and it's just going to launch day and date across PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox. So what does that mean for MLB The Show 24? Well, I wouldn't wait much longer than March 15th if it does indeed survive that long. But it is going to be strange not having the baseball title in the service. But I can't imagine that they're going to leave it in there when the brand new title is out in the wild. What do you think, Koosh?
Yeah, I mean, I think they set up those contracts so far back that they're not prepared for the contingency of MLB The Show 25 not going to any streaming. So it was probably set up for a year.
Yeah.
And so they're probably going to be gone soon.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. So I heard the 2024 was a relatively easy completion, though, comparative to the 2023 and the years before. So you got time, but I would expect that March 18th is when the new game comes out. I would think March 1st is probably when. So end of February is when I would expect MLB The Show to be out of there. Bloomy also has a couple of long lifers in here for February dates. One is Genesis Noir. It's been in there for 4 years. And the other is Disney Dreamlight Valley Founders Edition. The Founders Edition thing, Disney Dreamlight Valley has come up a few times, and I've seen that date get kicked around, so I'm not super confident in that one. But Genesis Noir at 4 years, that might end up coming through. The nice thing is that's a quick completion. If you see it, it's you can finish it within the 2 weeks. And so I wouldn't get too up in arms about it. There were 3 titles that I had listed that they're the only ones on the service, so we're kind of on the fence with. Merge and Blade is coming up on its 2-year mark. That had a bunch of DLCs come out. Now the DLCs are super inexpensive, but it also has some game-breaking save issues, and I don't know how I got around them, but the saves were working for me, kind of. It was really strange because part of it is like you'll lose progress on the roguelike part of it, but the ratios are insanely high, and it's relatively easy to go through, and you just have to do it a bunch of times. So if you played that weird little puzzle game where you merge troops together to make stronger troops and whatnot, this 2-year mark might be the end of the road here. And we've got Space Engineers and Return to Grace, which I've been told you've been playing, Koosh.
Yes, because I was kind of looking ahead and thinking, okay, well, what do I need to work on? I'll do Return to Grace. Chewy talked about it in our Cozy segment a couple months back, and so I figured I would let the Wookiee win, give it a shot, and turns out he was right. It's a pretty great little game. I'm not using a guide, and I'm having a good time going through my first time. And I've got to play it at least 2 times based on just glancing at a guide to kind of see what they say. They say, so if you use the guide, it's one full playthrough, one partial playthrough. I might be setting myself up for 2.5. So we'll see.
Yeah. That's all right. You got nothing but time on your hands.
Exactly.
You're so time rich. We got a couple games on here, a few games on here that don't really have enough data. One is Wolong Fallen Dynasty by Koei Tecmo, coming up on 2 years. They've also got the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection in there. That 3-year mark is coming up in August, so they've got a couple of long lifers in here, and then of course they just had their contribution to the Xbox Developer Direct with Ninja Gaiden Black that just joined. Shadow dropped.
A lot of Ninja Gaiden in there.
A lot of Ninja Gaiden. So lots of options there. I would imagine that the Master Collection probably is going to stay in there up until the new game comes out. Again, this is a cycle in August, but Wolong, that has a possibility of leaving at the 2-year mark here. I wouldn't put. I guess I would rate that as a relatively low chance. The one I think is a much higher chance is A Little to the Left. We flagged this one long time ago, the 100-day achievement, etc. It hits 12 months in February. Again, not enough data because Secret Mode doesn't have any other games in the system, really. But who knows? We don't know. We're just going to kind of keep an eye on that one. Some lower probability titles, Maneater, the shark game, which that game is fun. That game is super fun. It's just a video game by Tripwire Interactive. It went through one time the service already at 12 months, and then it got re-upped in the last minute. And so then it finally left at 24 months. This is coming up on its second 12-month stint. Will it once again get re-upped, or is it going to leave at 12 months? So we know that they're 12-month contracts, and so it's whether or not it gets re-upped or not. So I got this one kind of at a 50-50. Maybe leaning toward 50. I don't know if Tripwire is doing anything with this IP that they want to, keep it on people's minds or not. But and then we've got a couple of outright games. These are a little bit higher probability, coming up on 12 months. Paw Patrol World and Bluey the video game, which I'm about halfway through my Bluey playthrough. I saved that for a rainy day. Did you finish both of these? I would imagine you did.
Of course. Yeah. Paw Patrol World was a pretty quick one. And Bluey the video game, I didn't have to play much of that. My daughter played most of that, and I did the cleanup on it. Yeah. So I was looking for stickers and things like that.
Lots of stickers.
Yep.
So many stickers. And so I put those at 75%. I do think, Outright has been a little wishy-washy with their consistent 12 months, and especially some of these titles, since there's not a lot of the younger kids games out there, but it's eventually it's got to come out. And on the other side of the coin, we've got Warhammer 40K Bolt Gun, the boomer shooter. This is coming up on 12 months by Focus Home Interactive. I also have this at 75%. I do think this one has a much higher probability. However, the excitement surrounding Space Marine 2 from last year being pretty darn popular perhaps maybe gave this game a little bit more extra life. I don't know. There's Warhammer IP all over the place, so it's hard to say if they reevaluated this contract or all. But I'm personally, this is probably high on my personal list to get done, because I think this is it a 10 to 12 hour, 8 to 10 hour? It's not a crazy completion.
No, it's not crazy, but it's incredibly boring if you want to do it the safe way. To turn on invincibility and just destroy everything. It's really boring if you do that. But
I bet. Yeah. I bet. I hate doing stuff like that. Now we've got the high probability games for February. We've got Gris, 18 months by Devolver Digital. This thing has hit my own personal list multiple times, but I don't think the Bloomy date has actually ever come up on it. We did just lose Death's Door and McPixel and Serious Sam and Broforce. So Devolver Digital is just cutting games, boom, 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 boom. And so this thing is insanely high likelihood that it is out of here. I feel confident by when this airs that we're going to be hearing it's on the list. Another one is Dead Island 2 by Deep Silver, also coming up on 12 months. This is a high enough profile game that I would think this is also got a pretty limited contract. I would imagine it's relatively high cost to re-up for Microsoft, and that there's nothing really to keep it in here. The PC version just joined in October, and so there's a chance that extends the life of this thing here, but Deep Silver hasn't showed any sort of affinity toward picking a later date than another, so I do think we lose this one in February. And then Tales of Arise by Bandai Namco, I think, is hitting its 12 months and will be leaving the service. The other RPGs that Bandai had in here, Ni no Kuni, both the Ni no Kuni games. At the first, it was moved from March of 2024, and then it went to September, then moved again. We don't know what that new year is, but Bandai is consistent on that 12 months, and I think the Tales of Arise game is time is up. The last two I want to talk about are by 505 Games, both 12 months. We've got Bloodstained Ritual of the Night and Indivisible. Bloodstained was in the service before, and it lasted 18 months the first time through, but the date now is only 12 months for this cycle. And then Indivisible, also second time through the cycle, that one hit at 12 months. And so I think both of these are going to come up at the same time here. And then just a couple things to keep an eye out by 505 is Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons for May and Journey to the Savage Planet for June. So if you're looking ahead, Brothers obviously is a quick completion, so you don't have to worry too much about that. But the Journey to the Savage Planet, that is the Employee of the Month edition, the year edition? What
I think it is, yeah.
So that brings us into March. And looking ahead into March, there's not a ton here, and I don't have anything that's crazy high likelihood. So I do think some of these dates could start to shift. And now that we're trying to understand some of the release schedule, especially, the Developer Direct, we got some really fun games coming out here in the next couple of months. So I don't know if any of these have to leave to make room for those fun things, but in terms of long lifers, the biggest thing that's coming up is the Yakuza series. That's obviously by Sega, and most of the Yakuza games are coming up on their 3 to 4 year window, and that includes the entire list. Yakuza 0, Kiwami 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Like a Dragon, all of them are listed with bloomy dates here, and obviously not all 3 to 4 years, but they came out in bunches. And so all the other Sega games have been the 1 year mark, and the Yakuzas are the ones that stick around for however long. No clue if its time is coming. Do we know when the pirate game is that coming out?
I don't know of a firm date on that, but I thought it was 2025.
Yeah, same. So I don't know if they're going to keep, try to keep these around to get that interest in there, or potentially, make way for an Infinite Wealth sighting.
Right.
But just throwing that out there in terms of Yakuza, you've had 3 years to do it, 4 years to do it. So if you haven't done it by now, what are you waiting for? Similarly, Tunic has been in there for 3 years. And we've got a date in March. This is a Finji game. There are 3 other titles that left at 12 months, and Tunic just has survived, right? And it was a pretty high-profile Game Pass game when it came out. Who knows for this one? It's the only Finji one left. And then Little Gator Game is coming up on 12 months by Platonic Friends. Now, did I see some news that Gator Game's got some DLC coming out?
It's got some DLC coming out, yep. So makes me think that they'll drop it and then release the DLC, but who knows?
I'm hoping that, yes, it's the re-up and say, hey, Little Gator Game is in Game Pass and we're going to do another year. Go buy the DLC. The game is fantastic. We've talked about it before, so you totally should get on top of that one. Koosh, you've been preparing all year for this one. Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged. Are you caught up? Have you?
No, absolutely not. I'm chipping away at it. I was chipping away at it. I've got a good foothold in the game. So should they announce it, I can jump right back on it, give it high priority.
There you go.
Hopefully clear it out.
There you go. Not enough data on that one. So it's coming up on 12 months in March. Again, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2. A lot of races you got to do, right?
Yeah, a lot of races, but they also have 3 DLC. So if you want the full completion, you're either going to have to catch it on sale and get this DLC on sale, or just buy the whole thing for cheap, probably like an end of the year sale.
Yeah.
So if you do start it, you can't finish it. Maybe just wait to the end of the year sales, get it for like $15-$20 or whatever with all the DLC, and you can finish it if that's your jam.
For sure. The last one that is kind of new, we don't know much about, is Terra Invicta. This is 12 months by Hooded Horse. They do have another title in the service, is Manor Lords, and that came out a month after. So we're keen on what happens with Terra Invicta. Manor Lords, I think is still in game preview, right? That has not gone 1.0, so they're likely not connected that close, but just keep an eye on those because we just don't know anything about what Hooded Horse is going to do with their contracts. Moving on to the 50/50s, game I talked about multiple times, Lies of P. This will hit its 18-month mark. This is when Bloomy has the date on here. Everything else of NeoWiz is left at 12. Now, the only thing that gives me pause, and the reason I have this is at a 50/50, is that there is rumored DLC coming. So, and the rumor pages have it for Q1 2025. There is this weird, so like your bonfire equivalent in the game, there's a golden one in one of the levels that does nothing in the game. And so people are speculating that that's like the teleporter to get you to whatever the DLC is.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I have no idea, but that game is awesome. And so if DLC does come, I'm jumping on that right away. And so that, like I said, if the DLC gets announced, this could be similar to the little Gator game where, hey, it's in the service. Would you pay for a little extra content and play it in the service and get another bump in that sales queue? Or they could do the jerk move of like what Infernax did and pull the game and then announce the DLC. But
yeah,
I have faith in NeoWiz. The next title here is a 50/50, also 18 months by Paradox. This is the Lamplighters League. Koosh, this is so up my alley in terms of turn-based tiles. Love me some tiles games. I am enjoying it. It is fun. It doesn't have great reviews, but if you like this genre, like it's scratching the itch for me. Anyone who does like these types of genres understands like you try to find a way to break the game so that like your team is just so overpowered, and I've made it to that point. It's awesome. I can just rip through every single quest that I'm on, and you do have to play at the hardest difficulty. The problem is there's an achievement for unlocking 10 characters in a single playthrough, and I hit the end game, the point of no return, right? I can start the final mission. I hit that on week 34, and I'm now on week 50 because I can't get the last thing to spawn. I cannot get the 10th character to spawn because you only get 2 chances each week for the random event to show up, and then you got to go play a mission. And the way that the game is balanced, you've got these doomsday clocks, and you can only stop one from going up. And now they're all kind of full. And so once one fills up, then you have to do a special mission to clear a little bit of, back. And so I am like just spinning my wheels trying to get this last RNG thing to show up. And it's getting a little frustrating. Thankfully, I still like the game. But it is getting a tad bit frustrating. But what's going to be nice is once I get this last character, boom, I am like home free and the game's complete. So that's going to be fun. All right, another 50-50 is Football Manager 2024. 18 months by Sega. I don't have a fresh Wemblator update, but presumably the game is still on track for March 2025 release. We had talked last time that it was delayed out of its normal October-November timeframe because they were overhauling the engine and whatnot. And so I'm going to assume it's still on track. So I got a 50-50 because I haven't heard anything, but I bet Wemblator will chime in and hook me up with some info. And then the last 50-50 is Evil West, 12 months by Focus Home Interactive. I have it 50-50 because Focus is all over the place these days. They have completely gone random on how their contracts have been going. So I can't find any sort of pattern anymore. And then the last 5 games I have here are all in that 75 range. I don't have anything that I'm putting at near slam dunks. We've got Monster Hunter Rise, 24 months by Capcom. Monster Hunter World left at 27 months, which is kind of a random time, but we're looking at that about 2-year mark, similar. So that's why I upped that one a little bit. Couple of Annapurnas. We got Solar Ash at 18 months and Open Roads at 12 months. Annapurna was so rock solid on the 12 months, but recent dates, again, they've started to go all over the place. So, and then with the whole walkout and everything, I don't know how the current state of Annapurna is in terms of re-upping contracts and how the games division is getting along with having no people. So that one's a big question mark. But maybe still a 75. I don't think I can bump that all the way up just yet because they might just have put those things on autopilot, as far as I know. We've got SpongeBob SquarePants, Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. This is hitting 12 months by THQ Nordic. THQ Nordic, hot mess with departure times. Who knows? It's all over the place. And No More Heroes 3 by Marvelous Entertainment, another 12-monther. Marvelous Entertainment has 2 other titles in the service that left at 12 months. So 12 months seems like a good enough winner there. So those 5 games again: Monster Hunter Rise, Solar Ash, Open Roads, SpongeBob, and No More Heroes 3. So March is a little weird because I just don't feel confident in any of those, but clearly we're going to be losing, some games, and I'm certain there's going to be some things sneaking in. But, they might be some of the ones carried over from February too, because there's quite a few on that list. So let's move into the games that have come in the service, because this is more fun to talk about, things that we want to be playing. There's the list in December, and we've talked, you and I, that I'm woefully behind on podcasts. I'm trying to catch up. I'm in October. So how's everyone liking Indiana Jones?
Well, some people like it. Some people don't. So I would say that it's pretty polarizing.
Yeah. You haven't played it yet?
I have played it a little bit, but I didn't get sucked into it. I guess I'm more of a shorter game type focus, and this one's going to be around forever, so I don't really feel the need to jump in and play it. I will say that it's really well done. There's a lot of polish. One of the fun things that I like is in a game when it loads up and you're looking at the menu, the game is where you left off. So
sure.
The game is where you left off, and the menu is just sitting there over top of that. And as soon as you hit play, the menu goes away and you just start moving. And I think that's beautiful. I think that's really cool. And I just goes to show you the level of kind of polish that's in the game. Now I say that, and some people may say, "Oh, but there's bugs." But we know.
Come on.
But it's a solid game. The people that like it really like it. that's all I've got to say about that.
I think I'm going to enjoy it myself, but it's one of those things, like you said, it's in there forever, so it's going to be hard to get myself on there. One of the December games I did jump on, if it's not a turn-based tactics game, it is a deck-building roguelike. Wild Frost, man, this spoke to me. I love the cartoony graphics, and I'm a big Slay the Spire rube, and these types of games. And this thing, I think I was number 97 on the site to complete it. I went ham on this thing at the end of the month in December. This is sweet, I think it took me about 5 or 6 runs to even just get a handle on what was happening. And then once you kind of learn the systems, it just clicked, and I was finding some really fun ways to break the game, and I think it's got some really cool, unique things. One of my favorite things that they do is when you pick like a hero that you leave this village with, and then along the way you can pick up other heroes, and you can have up to 3 or 4 of these heroes with you, and they do different things, and you can attach these little charms to them which give them boosts. So maybe they do extra poison damage, or maybe they hit the whole row of characters, or whatever. Maybe they hit multiple times. There's all sorts of different mechanics that your person can do. And when you finish the run, you get to the end, and you fight. It's called the Frost Guardian, and you beat the Frost Guardian. The Frost Guardian then turns into this little ghost spirit and takes over your dude. And so the way that you cheated to beat the Frost Giant now becomes the new Frost Giant. And so now you have to figure out a way to beat your cheated guy, because you're like, oh man, I found this great loophole where I could do this and I could really stack it up. And now you're like, oh crap, now I got to go beat that. You got to find a new way to cheat the system, and it's super fun to try and like outsmart yourself because you came up with such a good combo the first time through. So I really liked it. It was fun. I think it took me around 50 hours to get through everything. But it's a nice list. It was a nice list.
That's going to be my question. My question was going to be about how long, and it sounds like you just went hog wild on it.
I totally did. Now, there's some idle time in there, but I would say actively it was probably in that 40 to 50 hour range that I spent working on it pretty effectively. The nice thing is a run is in that 30 to 40 minute range. And so like you can go through runs pretty quick once you get the hang of it. And then a lot of the achievements you don't have to do at the highest level. You do at one point have to clear the highest level, but to do the cleanup and stuff, you can drop it down to the basic level, and you have way more forgiveness trying to set up some of those combos so that you can jack the poison all the way up to 100, or do whatever you had to do to get some of those final things to trigger.
Gotcha.
There's nothing else really in December. We Crash Team Racing, EA Sports WRC, Overthrown, Carrion came back, Road 96. Nothing really jumped out there. And then we got the absolute just kick in the shorts announcement for Wave 1 in January. That I saw multiple comments about, I don't think games that are coming to standard should count.
Right.
Because they announced 7 games, 5 of them were already in the service, and they're just coming to Game Pass Standard, which is stupid. Yeah. And then the 2 new games, one was EA Sports UFC 5, which came out in October of 2023, and the other new game was Diablo from the PC, which has no achievements and came out December 1st, 1996. So, 25-year-old, 30-year-old game. Yeah.
Didn't feel good.
It did not feel good. Thankfully, they made up for a little bit in Wave 2. I did feel much better about that because what we got 9-10 10 new games plus 5 of those moving over to standard. So I felt much better about this. It's funny because I categorize my games in terms of kind of genre, but a little bit more specific to my own play style about games that I want to play, right? So I have deck builders as a special category so that I get more of those in my pool, and puzzles and quick games and these things like this. I don't have any category ever for MOBA because they don't exist. And
Right.
then Gigantic ends up coming back, and it's like I don't even know where to put this in my pool of potential games because who plays MOBAs anymore?
Right.
And then Lonely Mountains Snow Riders. I know that's going to appeal to some people. I didn't realize that was a different developer than Lonely Mountain Downhill. They don't have the same name.
Do they just change names or
maybe? I guess I didn't look into it that deep, but someone jump in if you got anything there. Now, Eternal Strands, I saw some conversations about that in the Discord today. You started that thing up?
Yes, I started it up. It's a first effort from this developer, and it's pretty. It's got a nice 3D style to it. Sometimes the conversations go into kind of like RPG mode where they're hand drawn conversations where both people speaking will be there, and then the card of the person who's talking will be either highlighted or come to the front. But then they also have some kind of like Saturday morning like cartoon animations that they do to tell a story. And then you have the gameplay, which is a really good looking 3D kind of actiony game. From what I've heard, I've put about an hour into it. From what I've heard, you kind of start off in this one hub, go out and do a mission, come back to the hub, go out and do a mission, come back to the hub.
Okay.
And that's what I've seen so far in my first hour or so. I would categorize it as Phoenix, or the way I would describe it is Phoenix Rising and a little bit of Shadow of the Colossus.
Okay.
But then I've been told that the Shadow of the Colossus portion, there's only like 3 of those, 3 different ones, and you can do them over and over again. And I'm kind of like, well, that kind of kills the fun of that.
Yeah.
But at least my first encounter with the big enemy that you fight was pretty cool.
Sure.
I enjoyed that. And I've been told that the main fighting mechanic, yes, you can use sword and board, or you can use a 2-handed weapon or bow and arrow, but the cool way to play the game is with all the magic. I mean, you start off basically a Jedi. You've got good telekinetic powers, and you got a freezing power, and so like you're running around, you're fighting things. You eventually get to this large boss, and all of a sudden you're like, oh man, this guy keeps catching up to me. But guess what? You can use ice to freeze his foot to the ground. He can no longer move. He has to smash that ice. That gives you time to knock pieces of his armor off. It's very cool in concept, and I hope it just goes from there.
Sure.
So I'll be playing more of this for sure. Once I finish up the stuff I think it's going to leave in the next 2 weeks or so. But
yeah, no, that's on my list as well. Couple other ones that really appeal to me: Citizen Sleeper 2, Star Wars Vector. I loved Citizen Sleeper 1. I thought that was a really cool story that had some neat mechanics with a little bit of like these weird dice rolls that you kind of applied the dice to, whether or not your probability of doing a job well or not. And it was tricky to start because you were so poor and so broke, and then they had some really cool characters and well thought out storylines and things. And so I'm hoping that this carries on in the sequel here. I've heard good things, but I haven't heard a lot of details either. So I'm excited to jump into that one. And then I love me a Sniper Elite game. Not gonna lie to you. Sniper Elite Resistance sounds like a lot of fun. I'm hoping we can cheese like you normally can with the hardest difficulty.
Yeah, with the hardest difficulty.
Yeah. It does sound, I mean, the campaign is fully playable co-op, I hear. So that might be kind of fun. I was hoping we were gonna have a good 4-player, because I know our crew likes to do the zombie horde modes that Rebellion puts together. But
and it's coming.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Zombie resistance.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, resistance with a Z. Orcs Must Die, Death Trap. I played Orcs Must Die, like the first one. I know Orcs Must Die 3 is in the service currently. That's a cool tower defense type game.
It is, yeah.
And then Shady Part of Me, we briefly touched on off air. Did you play that, or you just looked at it?
I played like the first couple levels of it. It's a puzzle game, kind of like but very dark. It's got shadows as a mechanic. You're using light and the shadows that the light casts as a mechanic to traverse the background. So I like that type of game. I need to go back into it, obviously, and play some more. But I already own it, so I feel no pressure to play this. But now you people that don't just buy everything that has a shadow mechanic, and it's kind of a limbo like.
Yeah.
Now you can try it for free.
Perfect.
If you pay for Game Pass.
So. All things said and done. So right now you're working. Did you finish Return to Grace, or are you still working on it?
Oh, I just started it yesterday.
So
I put an hour and a half. Yep.
What else are you like? What's on the list to close out here?
So I have a feeling that Return to Grace is probably going to go. So that's why I'm focusing on that. Then I will probably my plan was to jump onto Bloodstained Ritual of the Night on the PC because I own the Xbox version,
right.
And I started both. So I want to go through and just knock out the PC version, figure out if I'm going to buy the DLC for the PC version or just save that for the Xbox version.
Did you finished a Little to the Left DLC, right? The Seeing Stars one.
I finished the first one, the cupboards.
The
cupboards. I thought that one was great. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was cool.
Seeing Stars, I didn't love, and I know I've mentioned that I didn't love it, but I went back and I played it when I had no access to other games. I was recently on a little trip, and I needed to play something that was in Game Pass for 15 minutes in order to complete a quest. So I pulled up a little to the left on my phone, and I played some more of Stars and whatever. And it was better than I remembered. So maybe I was just in a funk when I started playing it.
Yeah.
Or maybe I just, maybe I played too much of it all at once. But it's better than I remember. I think the hint system is better too. I don't remember the hint system working as well as it did in that, like, it will show you all the solutions if you want to ruin the game for yourself.
Right.
You can see every single solution in.
Do you have to actively erase it like you did in the base game?
Yeah. So you have to go in, you have to pick up, or you have to say, show me a hint, go to the menu, show hint. And then you have to use an eraser to kind of scrape off the etchings in the background, and then flip to the next page, which is the next solution. And then, so you still have to do that actively to get them all. But
if that gets announced leaving and I got to buy the Seeing Stars DLC, am I going to be frustrated to do that in 2 weeks?
Well, if you're going to cheat it, you'll just...
Oh, no, I'm not going to cheat. I want to play it legit. But am I going to be like, oh, this just takes forever? Like, I got to play it all the time.
I think it's a risk of, if you want to try to figure it out on your own. I thought the solutions were a little bit trickier, or a little bit harder to see. But once again, I've only played, I guess, 4 levels, gone back and redone some of the solutions for those. So I haven't seen the whole thing to be able to tell you, but I would say that, you might be setting yourself up for some frustration or a little more stress than you want.
Boo.
But, it's on sale now, I think, the base game. And you can always wait. It'll always go on sale at the end of the year.
I keep waiting for that DLC to go on sale, and it's just not happening. I did buy the cupboards one because I thought that was fun. That was cool.
So good. I like this. I like the ones that they put in that package.
Totally.
For sure.
I think other than that, obviously I'm going to finish Lamplighters, and then the other one on my list was Solar Ash. I wanted to get put some time into that one.
That one I need to go back to as well.
Yeah,
I intended to do that one. And SpongeBob SquarePants, just because I started it, I can't help but play a
licensed game. Did you play that when it was originally like the not rehydrated version?
Mattism sent me a copy of the game on Xbox One, I guess it was. I beat it, but it took me a good year or two to start after I had it in my possession. And I finally beat it, and I was going to send it back to him. And then, of course, Game Pass releases the PC version. I'm like, well, I should play that since I just like a month or two ago.
I mean, it's so fresh.
Version. Yes, it's so fresh. I should go play. So I will play that, and I will complete it once I get that clock timer.
There you go. Yeah, once you get the 2 weeker. Perfect. Is there anything else you want to touch on? Anything else that we need to key in on here? I think I
don't think so. I think
we've 2 months worth of stuff.
We've gotten back to our 2-month outlook, giving people like a little head start or things to think about working on so that they're ahead of the curve.
Yeah. Hopefully we can get back to being a little bit more normal cadence. And then in February here, we'll come up with your April announcements. Boy, you start talking like that and the weather gets nice. And that developer direct really got me excited for some of those new games coming out. So
South of Midnight in April. I'm super excited for April.
Yeah, looks sweet. I was surprised with how early those dates were. I thought they were going to be like the last year's one where it was like, here's some fall stuff.
I hope this is the pattern. I hope this is like a 6 month. We do a thing. We're going to show you where you're going to get in 6 months.
Yeah.
And like, don't tell me what's going to be out in a year, because then I have a year to think about it. Just do 6 months, and then I can be super happy.
Totally. I mean, with everything in the pipeline, I mean, you almost don't want to take away all the thunder from the stuff that's like just coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, keep those hits coming. Awesome. Well, Koosh, it was great talking to you and everyone. I appreciate the kind words, the feedback, anything that you have to help make this part of the show better. We do enjoy doing this. It is fun to get to chat, and hopefully you enjoy listening to the two of us ramble about fun Game Pass games every couple of weeks, month, whatever.
Every whatever. Yep.
Awesome. Well, everybody, I hope you have a great rest of whatever you're doing today. And Koosh, we will talk in the near future. Everyone, have an awesome time. See ya.
Bye-bye.